It's Friday for me in Middleton here. So we're trying to refresh, and I need your help today on the podcast because it's just me and you, and I need some questions here so I don't run out of stuff to talk about. But I need to refresh to make sure that this live shows up. Yep. I'm glad you can see it. How come I can't? Let me go to my home screen. There we go. I need to get a new photo of me. That's a 250 Matt Warman right there, buddy. I need a new photo of the homepage. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, hold on. I'm just getting set up for you guys here. Give me an update. How's my audio sound? All right. Let's go pop out chat. Let me go live. Let me pop this thing out so I can see it. There we go. Yeah, audio is probably pretty good because I have the fancy DJI mic on. So thanks for the update, fellas. I just wanted to make sure because I changed the setting on it to be flat. I have to run it at -6 on my C70, and I'm running off my iPhone here. So let's see. Okay, cool. So your questions are coming in. Get me some questions. Update you on what's going on here. So I started the Tesla, as you can see. We're shooting the Obsessed Garage channel quite a bit differently than I have in the past. And so we're thinking about it a little bit more. You know, what's the title? What's the thumbnail going to look like? And I know it's going to pack some of you off, some of these AI-generated goofy thumbnails, but it's kind of what we have to do in order to reach people because you know, I have 700,000 people here, and I get 10,000 watching the darn video. So I need to adapt or die, and I hate it. That's why I started this channel, the Matt Warman channel. So I don't have to adapt. I can just do it the way I want to do it. We'll have 4,000 or 5,000 of us here, and it'll be good to go, and I get to do what I want. But on the Tesla, we're shooting a video sort of to answer the question of quality. You know, that's the biggest thing that people are always asking. See, it's like that car guy lore that Tesla paint stinks because they did have a period of time where it wasn't great. And I will tell you a little foreshadowing here. The paint is pretty decent. There's quite a bit of dust, you know, little dirt nibs. And I'd say on the front clip here, which I just finished, there's dozens. You know, dozens of little pock marks, but once you get it jeweled up and dialed in, it's nice. It's not top tier, but it's certainly not disappointing. And so we made that video today. We'll have to do some final B-roll. You know, it's hard to make polishing interesting. So we spent quite a bit of time today getting that done. So I deconned it, polished, finished polished, coated the front clip here, and then I'll finish the rest of it this weekend, theoretically, if I don't get lazy on it. But that video will be out in the next week or two, I think probably 3 weeks from now, where for the main channel, it's more, what we're looking to do is to tell the story better. And then on the Matt Warman channel, we'll just do it the old style, straight out of camera, put some cross dissolves in between the clips and trim the fat a little bit and get the thing, get the full video done. We're going to have 2 different types of wash and talk. So we'll have wash and talk, edited wash and talk, cinematic wash and talk, where it'll be well produced for the Obsessed Garage channel, and then we'll have just me and a camera in the garage or in the driveway, doing full hour and a half wash and talk on this channel. So we'll kind of segregate those two. And then when I'm doing projects, it'll be straight out of camera on this channel, and then we'll do much more specific, titled better, themed, very specific projects on the Obsessed Garage channel. So I don't want to nuke the thing, but I want to make it more appealing. So Obsessed Garage a little more entertaining, Matt Warman, old school. The Garage Obsession channel is garage focused, cinematic garage focused. So I think the next video on Garage Obsessions is due in a week or so. So that video will be out soon. So make sure you're subscribed to all the channels. The fourth channel that's forthcoming, the Obsessed Garage Shorts channel, will become the how-to channel. So that'll be coming up here soon. So anyway, got a bunch of questions here. Thanks. Keep the questions coming so we can have a conversation here today. There probably aren't a lot of you, so we can have there's 74 of you, so we can have a one-on-one conversation as we sort of rebuild the Matt Mormon channel and get you guys over here. I knew that I didn't know I was going to be able to do this here today, so I'm doing Solocast, and so we didn't put the thumbnail and do the scheduled at 2 p.m. So actually, I was reasonably on time here today, and I wasn't even planning on doing this. So Car Enthused says, what's the good news about the MSS line? So Colby and team just visited on Monday. So they came down from Atlanta or from Auburn and visited, and we sat in our new conference room. We saw the new line. It's really, really good. So the new MSS line will be module or pre-configured based. So the way it's going to work is we have 8 configurations, and this time it's my configurations. It's what I would want in a garage. So we have 8 configurations. Am I still working? 8 configurations. And so in order to get deep discounted pricing, we want to be able to do volume here and get as many people into these cabinets as possible, make it as widely available as possible. They're still going to be much more expensive than New Age or Husky or something like that. But we have the 8 different modules. That allows us to go narrower and deeper. We're expecting to be in stock, unless we have some run on the bank and there's thousands of people buy these things. We'll be in stock and we'll adapt to stock demands. So our original cabinet array is slated to arrive October 24th, barring some sort of importation issue. So we'll have we have enough cabinets for us to build all 8 of those specific pre-configured arrays. And we have, I think, half of those arrays are under $10,000, and so the goal is to get the cabinets to be as affordable as possible. Total opposite of Rousseau and MSS Plus, which are not affordable. They're just best of the best. And so I think the biggest array is 24 feet, similar to my array here. And I think that one's like $15,000 or $16,000, something like that. And so to kind of give you some perspective. And so we're going to have many different options of arrays that will, be much more affordable than they have in the past. The cabinets are black, so it's the same level of finish as MSS Plus, but it has a dark gray drawer. And the drawers are much more, the handle is much more sort of integrated. It's a much cleaner design than the previous MSS line. I think you're going to really like it. It's sort of based off of the same setup as the Next toolboxes. And so it's going to have that kind of style of handle, look really, really clean and simple and flush. The back plates are going to have an option for square peg or no peg, which I like. I like the no peg look. It'll still be the same kind of wire piped modular design where it doesn't have to be mounted to the wall. So it can all be self-contained, easy to build. I mean, whereas Rousseau will take you a week to put together, you're talking about like a 12-foot or 15-foot array of MSS. You're talking about putting together in a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours if you're really particular about leveling it and making sure it's perfectly level. Tools, we're also going to be launching very specific tool packages. We'll have some discounts when you buy cabinets and tools at the same time. We've been talking about that. But the whole purpose of buying the Sonic stuff is so that way you get the whole Sonic ecosystem, I think. And so the tools you're going to see, 2026 is the year of tools. I love tools. I don't like using them, but I love shopping for them and putting them together. And then it's nice to have them when you need to use them. But MSS, we were talking about probably opening pre-orders very likely December 1st, I think. So we'll do it after Black Friday. And shipping or delivering in January is the thought process. So MSS is going to be incredible. I love how it looks. We're going to have it so you can see it in 4K 60 here soon on all the channels. So in the next, we're only maybe 5 weeks out from it showing up to HQ. So I'm excited. Ryan says, Matt, did you test ADS glass coating yet? I had the prototype was terrible. I don't know if I had a bad batch or something. So I do need to try it out. I'm planning to use the Sequoia to test out the ADS Pro coating and the ADS glass coating. So we'll see. I do have Built Hammer review. So the review video will be coming to the channel here in the next week or so. I'm doing all the glass here with review. So review is Built Hammer's glass polish. And then it's available in the store now. So if you want to buy it, you don't want to wait. It's available. I'm sure there's some other people who will have it up on YouTube before I do, which is fine with me because I'm the one selling it. So review is a glass polish that would prepare you to then coat it afterwards. So this car is going to get CSL XO on all the glass with the exception of the windshield. The windshield's going to get Wolf's, unless I find a coating that I like better. What's the latest updates on the Tesla from Jim? I'm getting it polished. It hasn't helped me yet. I'm still confident it will, but I need to just kind of putting some things in my life together. I've conditionally sold the pending sale of the Helen House. So we have to go through all the process, but the Helen House should be sold. The lot next to OGHQ is sold. I've got paid for that. And so I'm simplifying a lot of things in my life. My house here in Middleton is rounding out until I tear apart the kitchen. But I have my speakers going in the outdoor area. I've got my home theater getting wrapped up here, getting that complete. I got to get ISF calibrated. The Middleton house will always be a work in progress. I just finished all the upper cabinet organization. I'm going to finish the lower cabinet organization in the next couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that and then I'm going to hit my 200-pound goal. I want to stay solidly in ketosis, and I'm like 215 right now, 214, 215. And so I'm going to hit my goal. My goal is to hit 200 pounds I want to hit 199 by the end of SEMA. So if I'm going to do that, I got to get pretty aggressive on doing some fasting, continue to stay on track. I think that's pretty aggressive. I need to get like solidly into just steak and eggs, basically, and chicken and salmon. Stay away from the cheese and the milk and the nuts and things that I keep tending to supplement. So I'm hoping that all of these pieces combined with FSD as a crutch, put that all together. You would think it'd be so simple. Just get in and hit FSD and let it do its thing. Well, it freaks me out. So I don't know. I'm working on it. Let's see. Hey, Matt, Traceless nuked my press all as well. Yeah, I got a good 3 months out of it. But at, $12 a head, if I bought 3-4 of them a year, but I don't know if it'll last that long in every one. Maybe I just had a real bulletproof one. It's probably best to just leave the darn Traceless in the Traceless bottle because it's so flammable. It's heavy alcohol and whatever other magic formula they have. Jeffrey Hutchinson, are you planning on carrying Ferrosol? Ferrosol's in the store. Yes, we have it in stock. It's shipping right now. So thanks for the tool grid addiction, Matt. Yeah. Jay Hammer says, once you head down the tool grid path, it's awesome to kind of tool grid everything. Chris M., after the collab with Kyle from RR Buildings, do you have any more barn dominium folks reach out for design or products? I don't know. I'm sure we have. I mean, it's hard to quantify when you have, I do all this content and collaboration and advertising, and so we have some inorganic advertising, some organic advertising. It's kind of hard to tell where the sales and where everything's coming from. The design team is doing great. They're up about, I think, 100% from where they were last year. And so they've doubled essentially from last year, which is great. Now the team doubled, so I needed it to double. So I'm not really sure, but I'm certain we've sold some stuff. The problem is the Cree lights are unavailable and they've sort of stopped making them. So we're still working on nailing down the solutions to fill that void. Johnny Ruiz says, need your opinion on the E46 M3 or F80. I mean, it's tough because I didn't like either one of them. The F80, I don't like how it sounds. Now, they've improved it a lot with the equal length mid pipe. You know, Active kind of pioneered that. Now there's a bunch of companies making equal length mid pipe. But I'm not a huge fan of the S55. And then the E46, I think you can make an F80 decent with some simple bolt-ons, but an E46, you need to like go all in. You need to do the subform reinforcement. You need to do the intake and then custom tune. I mean, it's hard to make it sound good. So there's, you gotta really chase an exhaust. And so I had the E46 for a little while, and I traded it for my, current, Interlagos low mile E92. And I don't know that I'll ever head down that path after having it. So I'd probably pick the F80. And I know probably a lot of you are shocked on that. I'd pick the F80. Especially if you're going to buy one of these and drive it around a lot. I mean, my tendency, even because I like the E92 the most, obviously. But if I'm going to buy it, drive it, use it, I mean, I'd rather have an F80 than an F80 M3, not the F82 M4. I'd rather have that than an E92 if I'm going to just drive around all the time. If it's a collector, I'd pick the E46. If it's a collector, I'd pick the E92. So that's a tough one. Let's see, you sent the Tesla to presidential already? No, Tesla's obviously right here. I probably answered it for you, Hugh. I'm not doing PPF on a $50,000 car. I'd rather repaint the whole darn thing. So. Anyway, keep the questions coming, guys. I appreciate it. It's going to help me navigate this here today since I'm solo. Let's see. Luke Paget says, "I get you may be slowing down on car purchases, but what do you think will be the next car of your interest?" So I don't think it'll be a Porsche. I have the GT4. I have the GT3. The car that I'd really like to have, if I was driving right now, like if I could go out and just drive around and I wanted a daily driver, I really would like to have a 2016, so a 991.1 Carrera GTS in red, carmine red, with center locks. That has the power kit. It's naturally aspirated, AWE exhaust, and then Burmester, and just kind of leave it stock. That's the car that I'd really like to have if I was able to drive around. And I would drive the wheels off of that thing, and I would feel great about putting, 50, 60, 80,000 miles on it. But since I'm not, I don't know that that's in the cards. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the Evo. Right now, the Evo's still not working right. So I have a vacuum leak. I have the gas gauge isn't working, and the tune needs to go up and get retuned. So we're getting things together here. I'll get the Tesla done. I've got to get the Bronco front suspension, new springs put on it to adjust the, it sagged a little bit too much. I have too much preload on the front end, so I'm going to get the springs replaced. I had boots tear, and so I've got a little bit of maintenance to do to the Bronco. The GT4 gets sent off for PPF here in the next week or so. So once I get all these things done, I get the garage built at HQ. I have some room, some capacity. I still have the rental garage down the street. you know me, I'll probably find some excuse to get something that'll be my next crutch on how I'm going to fix my driving. And really, it'll just be an excuse to get another car. I've also toyed with the idea of why don't I just get rid of all of them and just get one car. Have one car, focus on it, complete the project, get another car, do the same thing. Maybe that's the path. I'm not sure. So who the heck knows? We'll figure it out as time goes. But the cars that are in my purview, Gen 2 NSX, 14, 15, 16. So I guess it'd be a 15 or 16 Carrera GTS, obviously 7-speed manual. I mean, we're going to eventually maybe get the TRD Pro Sequoia. And then if the Tesla stuff starts working, so I think the most logical thing, if the Tesla thing starts working for me, would be to get a Model S. You know, the Model 3, I feel like it was a smarter move. I got it at 0% interest. I got it $7,500 tax credit. I got it for, you know, what is that? $5,250 or something, or $4,750, $47,500. The only reason I was able to get the tax credit is we transitioned from cash basis accounting to accrual. And so I was able to, and I had a couple of loss carry forwards, so I was able to have very little income. So I was able to qualify for the tax credit for this. And so there is no tax credit on the Model S. And so I bought this. It's a smarter move. It's not working to date for me yet. So, but I think a Model S, you know, God willing, will be the next car. You know, that'd be the hope. All right, let's see. Michael Blackenberger says, been following you for years and can't remember it coming up, but have you ever used the Master Blaster from Metrovac? Is this something that OG would ever carry? So I had bought from Auto Geek. This is pre-YouTube channel. This is probably 2013, so just pre. I bought a Master Blaster, and I was using a steel. So actually I wasn't using any kind of, I was doing the sheeting method, you know, where you kind of pinch your hose and do the sheeting technique. When I was using Powerlock Plus, or I guess it was Powerlock, not Powerlock Plus yet. It was Menzerna Powerlock topped. I topped that with Culinite 845 with multiple coats, and I was using, I think I was probably still using Griot's spray wax as my drying aid, but I would sheet the car. And then I bought a Master Blaster once I learned about it. And I just hated it. It was such a pain. I had to roll out my pressure washer, get all that stuff out, and then I had to get out the Master Blaster, and I had the power cord, and it just kind of put me over the edge. It was too much. And I was pulling it out the driveway, and the hose was getting caught. And this was pre them having a long hose, I think. At least I didn't have the long hose. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the experience, getting that whole thing out. Now, I think you could overcome that by putting it on the wall, but still, especially now with battery powered, with stubby nozzles, the Ego, I just couldn't imagine using the Master Blaster. You don't need filtered air, that's nonsense. You'd have to filter the air around your car because you'd be blowing filtered air into unfiltered air, so that's nonsense. I guess maybe having heated air would help in the winter, but you know, the heat is sort of a byproduct of the motor, you know. And yes, you get a little bit more pinpoint accuracy, but if I needed pinpoint accuracy, I have an air compressor, so I would use that, but I've never found that necessary. So I think your $300 is better spent on get the Ego, because then you can use the Ego blower around the driveway and stuff too. So I'm just not a Master Blaster guy. It's a quality piece of equipment. If you are going to buy a blower like that, buy the Master Blaster. It's the best one. They're the originators. The other ones, knockoff ones, are not very good. So, but I'm a much bigger proponent of the experience from an Ego blower. Cece says, hey, have you tried a driving coach to help with your panic attacks? Whenever I have a passenger, it makes it worse because now I feel the pressure of them as well. So it's become a phobia now. So I'm looking to find that balance of you need to just do it, immerse yourself, but I need to have positive experience so I don't just end up in this negative loop. So part of it is a little bit of avoidance, a lot of avoidance, but not pushing too hard. So I've had quite a few stressful things going on here lately, and so I feel like I'm making the next turn. So, you know, I look at life in phases, and I look at improvement in phases, and, you know, I tend to go too far and have to ratchet back, and, you know, I don't make excuses. I do chase and try, and I do a lot of trial and error, and so it's going to happen. I'm confident it's going to happen. Any updates on the new Leather Clean treatment products? So I did get some more production samples for me. So I've got, this stuff has arrived. It's still in German, so it's gonna look a lot like this. So we'll have 1 liter bottles of the product. We're gonna be doing 250 milliliter bottles of the product instead of the little guys. And so I think we're gonna bring it in this kind of combination. And so hopefully soon here we'll have resolutions to importation, the cost of that, but they have the bottles, they have the labels in German, so they just need the labels in English. So labels should be here any day. I mean, the Germans always move slowly, so hopefully soon we'll have it, but I don't have any prediction. It hasn't shipped yet, but it's amazing, and we need to get it here for sure. Let's see, I think the new shop will be a candidate for Garage Obsession video. Yes, it will be. Oh, your new shop? Maybe. Talk to Waba. Send an email to Waba at obsessgarage.com. Maybe you can talk him into it. His new shop up in, I think he's in South Dakota. Let's see. If you read the comments on the video with our buildings, I don't think the barndominium crowd match with OG. Yeah. Not many people match with us, right? Any plans on visiting Japan? Would you like to? Everybody tells me that Japan would work well with me. You know, the cleanliness, the organization. I'm just not an experienced guy, you know? I don't want to sit on a plane for a day. So I'm sure I'll end up in Japan at some point in my life, but I don't have any aspirations, any plans to. Hey Matt, why is the Milwaukee tire inflator off the website? We are no longer a Milwaukee dealer, so that is one casualty. So you have to get the Milwaukee from Home Depot. So we're no longer selling Milwaukee stuff. Appreciate you considering us, but it was too difficult to try to keep up with, so they just kept cutting margin, and so we parted ways. Hey man, I've got 500 pounds to spend on the OG website. What do I get excluding chemicals? Also, we can't get Wolf's glass sealant in the UK. What alternative would you recommend? 500 bucks. So that's what, 600 US, something like that. First thing you're gonna want a couple OG t-shirts because they're freaking awesome. This new vintage one is pretty sick. It's not really vintage, they just printed it wrong and it looks vintage, and so we're like, well, we'll call it OG vintage because it's a nice print, but it's that sort of faded, I forget what they call it, dye sublimation or something like that. I don't know, I'm drawing a blank here today. I think you want touchless. Oh wait, he said not chemicals. Did he say that? Excluding chemicals. I don't know what he has. That's a tough one to answer. I'm gonna skip that one. Jeff House says, Matt, how was the Pittsburgh trip? How did you get access to the owner's private suite? That was awesome. One of my friends, customer follower, is one of the Rooney family members, and so I just sent him a text and said, we're actually working on his garage, But I sent him a text and say, hey, I'm coming up to the game. I hadn't met him in person, but we FaceTimed and talked, quite a bit about different different properties he was considering. And I sent him a text, say, hey, I'm coming to the game. I sent him a picture of my tickets. I'd love if you're going to be at the game, come. I'd love to shake your hand. And then he texted me back and said, hey, why don't you come up to the box and come, meet my dad. And then he got us sideline passes as well too. So it was pretty remarkable. The last Steelers game I was at is in 1989, Three River Stadium versus the Houston Oilers. It was like minus 25 wind chill. My aunt was a accountant for the Pirates, so we didn't get a lot of Steelers tickets. I think I'd been to 2 Steelers games in my life. I'm not much of a live sports kind of guy. Other than college basketball. I do like college basketball because it's air conditioned, I can get a good seat. I think Ryan and I will probably go do a Villanova game this year, although they're probably going to be terrible. But I do want to go to Villanova on campus, so we'll probably do that this year. But it was a pretty awesome experience. It was really cool. We had some great dinners, got to see my buddy Alex I haven't seen in a while, so it was really cool. It's rare for me to go and do stuff like that. I just don't like the hassle. I'd rather just stay home and play with my stuff. Jose says just bought 5 liters of Corosol. I think that's how you say it, Corosol. Hey Matt, what happened to the Rivian pickup truck? Rusty bought it with my house. So we were ready to sell it. We needed to get rid of some cars when we moved down here. And so we sacrificed that, and he bought it. He loves it. Thinks it's great. We just did new tires on it. It's pretty awesome. Pressall has not made it yet. It shipped last week, so it's 5 to 6 weeks transit. So we're looking at mid to late October. It's showing up. Let's see. Yokin NYR says, can I ceramic coat the gloss black on my interior? Just a few pieces, CSL XO, if so. Sure, you can do that. A lot of times on the interior, I would put just power lock on it, but CSL XO works. It certainly would help slickness in that you'd polish it and then coat it, and it would help maybe the towel and stuff glide across it better, so you'd have less marring, less scratching, because that stuff tends to be really soft, any kind of interior black plastic. You don't need the longevity of the coating, that's why a sealant would work, but if you don't have that and you have some CSL, then sure, it'll work great. Hey Matt, what's the latest coating? I'm still a CSL XO guy, and just put it on here. So the front clip has been finished with CSL XO V5. I mean, I don't know if there's better, but just coatings are a little hard things to just try out. You've gotta like go through the process of doing the whole thing, and I just don't want to waste it on one I don't like. So coatings are one of those things I have a tendency to not change as much. Michael says, watch you and Tom and Dan podcast since you mentioned you were heading there on the Inside the Hex video. What's your story on the connection with them? So Tom and Dan is a podcast here in Orlando. They're primarily Orlando heavy, and they have listeners all over the country, all over the world, but their primary audience is from Orlando. I listen to Monsters in the Morning. So before I moved up here to the Villages area, I commuted. So 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, I moved up here in 2010 when Ryan was born. So for 5 years, a little over 5 years, I commuted from West Orlando, Claremont, to here. It was like 40 miles or something, like 45 miles. And so I was always listening to talk radio. And so I listened to the Monsters in the Morning every morning when I came up. And so I became a super fan of Tom Van and Daniel. And so when they started their own podcast, I started listening to their podcast, which I love. And so when I left wealth management, I think it was Adam went on their podcast. I may have just reached out. I think I just sent Tom an email saying, hey, I've been a super fan forever. I'm a local YouTuber. I'd love to get together. And Tom started watching my stuff, and he invited me down. And so I went on the Tom and Dan podcast. So a couple of times a year I go down and we have fun together because I'm put together and they're not. And so it's kind of a fun relationship that we have. So, so I get to go down and talk life and business. So I think I was on a corporate time on the radio, because they do a radio show as well, which they call a corporate time, and so I was on that here recently. Ryan says, I was at a car show recently. They were selling buckets called FIX8. They have magnets fixed underneath the bucket to attract metal filings. Sounds good for the wheel bucket. Good idea or nah? I don't know. I don't see what metal you're getting. I mean, I guess from the wheels, but I don't use a wheel bucket, so it certainly kind of hurt, but I don't know. You mentioned it earlier for thumbnail generation. How are you using AI in your day-to-day business operations now? I know Matt has been using it a lot on the back end of Shopify to analyze and to data acquire. Brad, I'm sure, is using some AI to analyze our performance on our advertising, our inorganic advertising. But I'm certain, my hope is that AI will do my bookkeeping, my tax preparation, and so I'm going to try to stay on the cutting edge of that. I'm hoping that AI comes in and disrupts the WMS stuff, the warehouse management system stuff, so you can stop paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for stuff that doesn't work. That's kind of what we've been using to date. But I'd like to stay. I'm probably going to have to hire somebody at some point to manage all that for us. What's the best coating combo, Jason Davis says, for a daily driver? Now, I'm biased on this. I like my process here. So for wheels, Armor wheel coating. For glass, I'm doing CSL XO on all the glass except for the windshield, and then I'm going to use Wolf's, and I'm going to put Wolf's on probably once every 2 months or so, depending on how aggressive I am with my wiper blades. And I'm going to do CSL XO on the paint, and then every year I'm going to decon, do a light polish, and then reapplication. Let's see, equal length section fixes both the F80 and the E46. Good point. Do you still recommend McKee's N914, and how often do you personally use it? I still like McKee's. I have a bottle of Hero over there. I kind of flip back and forth, but I use McKee's 3/4 of the time, and I don't see a disadvantage to it. It doesn't leave anything behind, which I like. I use it as a clay lube. I just used it today to decon this. I use it on my countertops all the time. I use it on stainless steel. So that and traceless are the two. That, traceless, and sometimes still invisible glass are the 3 products I use more than anything else. Let's see. Hey, Matt, you going to SEMA? Yes, I am. I'm cutting 1 day off this time. I'm going, I'll be there Monday, and so I'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm flying out on Friday, I think at noon. So I'm getting the heck out of there a day early. I found that Friday was kind of a waste for us last year. I'm not finding as many products, so I'm in and out. So I'll be in for most of it, but then out the last day. Built Hamburger's fully stocked. Go to Detailed Image to get the other products like Auto Wheel, Touch On, stuff like that. I believe is all up and running in a Detailed Image. And then we're signing up all kinds of dealers, as time goes on here. Let's see. I talked about, John F. asked about the leather cleaner. We just talked about that, so I updated you on that. Car Enthused says, love my 16991.1 GTS, bought PDK. Instead of waiting for manual to pop up, pretty hard to beat for that era. Yeah, great sounding. I just don't like the turbo stuff. TJB says, what makes 90 CRI Cree better than 85 plus CRI prime light fixtures you sell at the lower price point? Is 5 CRI difference realistically noticeable? So the 85 CRI on the prime lights, I think it's probably at like R1 through R4, not an average of R1 through R12, the full, full color gamut light spectrum, measurable light spectrum. There's a fatigue difference. I'm freaking lit to the sun here, surface of the sun, it seems. And I have the 80 CRI Crees in the entryway at HQ. And it's bluer, it's not as color accurate. And we have those prime lights right next to the Crees in the new studio, because we kind of cut the studio off halfway. So I left the prime lights in. It's just, it flickers, it's not as color accurate, and it just fatigues you a little bit more. So it makes for a better experience from a lighting perspective. In fact, I'd like to bring these down a little bit, bring them down to we were shooting the Tesla video, so I'm gonna bring these down to 70%. They make me a little bit more comfortable in here, because that 150-foot candle is a little too bright. Yeah, I like that better. Why not try a Lamborghini? I have zero, negative interest in a Lamborghini, none. I doubt I'll ever own one. I don't dislike them. I think they look okay. It's just not my style. I would go Ferrari for sure if I was gonna go down that path. I'd go McLaren. I'd go Ferrari first, then McLaren, then Lamborghini. And so I don't know that I'll ever get to any of those. So it's just not my style. Matt, do you remove side badges if there's no indents or holes in the panels behind them? 100%, always. I want those to come off. Like the S2000, take the S2000 badge off. Anything that I can pull off, I'm generally an advocate for. Ruberry says, I've had Klipsch Legend series, KLF 30s, I had those too, for 25 plus years. The enclosure finally started rattling. It's a common problem. Thinking about a rebuild. Move to the rear, then get JTR. What JTR should I go with? So it depends on the size. So you're like a perfect candidate for this. If you're a KLF guy, so the KLF 30s, I think were dual 12s and a single horn, if I remember correctly. The KLF 20s were dual. The KLF 10s, or was it like a dual horn? Anyway, the big honking speaker, right? And so I think a direct replacement for that would be to do the 212 RT, so the tower, the reference tower. If you did, and it would, I'm telling you, man, it would, you'll be shocked. So it takes that harshness, the disadvantage to KLFs that they can be kind of bright and harsh. You get the same level of efficiency, so you can probably use the same darn amplifier. But you're going to get better imaging, you're going to get much smoother frequency response, much flatter frequency response, much more bottom end, and a considerably more output, believe it or not. The KLFs have tons of output. But it's the dream speaker, I'm telling you. Hideous, but you're used to hideous. I mean, you may have the wood grain KLFs, so these are a little uglier than the KLF stuff. But when you get them, just go to obsessedhometheater.com, order them up. When you get them, send me a picture of the two next to each other. I'd love to post that. Man, you'll be smiling ear to ear if you're a KLF fan. Let's see. Your HQ isn't a garage advertisement anymore. You should rename it Obsessed Living, especially as it got cinema, wardrobes, etc. So I think we're going to call it Obsessed Home. Just like Obsessed Garage, it's a place rather than a concept or a style. And so I'm going to continue to call it Obsessed Garage, but we may have a whole Obsessed Home brand as well. So we're going to head down that path. Let's see. Do you miss not having a boom pole? Yes. I feel like if I get one, I wouldn't be able to do without it. Yes. It's taking me a long time to get over it. We'll have a boom pole at HQ here soon. So in fact, this week. Next week, I've got to order my. I got to get working on ordering my metal outdoor area for the wash bay. I'm going to need that soon. Let's see. Do you think a golf cart could help with driving? It doesn't. Shoot, I can ride around on my bicycle, which is ridiculous. It's infinitely riskier to ride a bicycle 30 miles an hour around here. But we're going to get a golf cart here soon. Once I get HQ set up, I figure out what I'm doing with my Evo. I'm going to keep 3 or 4 cars up there. I'm going to keep the Bronco and the Tesla down here. So I'm going to have room to get the darn golf cart. So we'll get one here soon, I think. Let's see. Any thoughts on JIS screwdrivers, Japanese industrial standard? I know your vehicles are German, but JIS screwdrivers work in normal Phillips. I didn't know that. He says they work better without stripping in regular Phillips type. I never thought of that. That's news to me. Maybe I should get some. What is the specific name of your Arc'teryx shorts? Let me pull it up for you. Let me minimize this. Arc'teryx. No, they change them all the time. But the ones that I wear the most, they're Gamma SL 11-inch. So those are the ones you see me wearing the most. Today I have some Travis Matthew shorts on, some golf shorts. But yeah, the Gamma 11-inch. I do have some Gamma 9-inch as well. I've been running in the Norvin, Norvin short, the 7-inch version. And it looks like they're gearing up for the winter, so they only have 5 pairs of shorts. But yeah, the Gamma SLs, I have them in all the colors. I wear a 38. Now I'm probably better off in a 36 now because I have to pull that 38 pretty tight. But they do run a little bit small. So if you wear like a 37, get the 38. Let's see, so the Gamma shorts are the way to go. Where was I? Arc'teryx. Wait, another Tesla. Nah, it's my Tesla. I got another one, Model 3 Performance, white with white interior. Reckless Zapper says going through the garage design process right now. Sweet, I think we'll have a lot of fun. Quick update on the current leaders at OG and their roles. So let's see. Mark Springhetti is the COO, so I hired him 2 months ago. Joe Greger is the sort of fractional CFO. Matt Rutledge is sort of temporarily for the next, hopefully, couple of years, is stepped in on the CMO role, so on the marketing side. And then you have Tommy, who's head of products. Waba is head of media and marketing, I guess. My mom is head of warehouse. What other department do I have? Chris Corberry is head of design. And I think those are the four sort of main departments which cover everything. Let's see. When you went to Esoteric, you had wet sanding training. When are you going to show us how it's done properly? No, Todd doesn't believe in wet sanding, so it wasn't Esoteric. It was Jason Kilmer and Andy Ward came down and showed me how to wet sand. Wet sanding is like learned in years. I can do it, not very well, but you generally I'd be better off just machine sanding. And so I've done some machine sanding training with Jason Rose, with the Mirka folks. But I don't have a need to sand very often. Ian Summerfield says, hey Matt, I have a single car garage. Undecided if lighting should run in lines side to side or front to back. Is there any reasoning? Stuck on what looks best. Any thoughts? I think it depends on how wide. Let's say your one car is 12 feet wide. If it's really narrow, I'd probably run it straight down the middle. If it's a little wider, you might want to consider running 2 rows, but I'd probably be a front to back person. It'd be a lot easier to wire. It also depends on what the truss is or what's above it. But I think you can make it look good both ways, but I would be inclined to run it front to back would be the most likely choice. Hey Matt, what's the status on the new AR 630 V2? It's good, man. I'm putting the ARs in HQ, so I have the Krensless here and the ARs there. The new nickel plated, I think it's on the site. So let me look it up here. Let me open up a new window. So the new 630 hot, AR 630. Yeah, it's there. AR Blue Clean 630 hot is clean looking. The only thing we don't love is that they didn't have a nickel plated inlet. So we're hoping to get that piece here soon. But just go to obsessedgarage.com right now. We have 47 of them in stock. They're shipped probably today if you order it right now. We don't need the seals, the hot, the check valves and the seals are different on the hot version because you're not going to get 175 degrees of water. But it's black. I would take all the stickers off of it. It's pretty beautiful, man. It's quieter. It's a triplex pump than the Krensless. I might be taking the plunge. I think both are great. Yeah. Oh, Kevin just texted me. Is he ready? I gotta call Kevin. I think he might be ready for my GT4, so we gotta get the GT4 down there. So I'll call him after the podcast. Yeah. So the only difference is the nickel-plated head, which would be better for DI water, and the seals and check valves are a little sturdier for dealing with hotter water. Let's see. Mopar asked, what's your go-to hotel in Vegas? I just stay at the Westgate, which is not the best hotel, but I stay at the Westgate because I can walk in and out. I don't have to get an Uber. I don't have to go anywhere. It takes the stress off of me. Let's see. Hey Matt, are you guys actually accepting Garage Obsession Garage Spotlight spots? I think that would be smart. We really don't have the capacity for it yet, but I'm sure we will at some point. Hey Matt, any chance of making more labels for Presso bottles with different names to cover more chemicals? Not right now, but yes, we will be. Let's see. I ordered some items and they forgot to get shipped. How does that happen? I don't know. Human error? It's part of we didn't have it. It'll ship secondarily. Matt, what's your opinion on bald head cabinets? Bald head's nice. I think the Sabre cabinets, Dean, who invented or made the Sabre cabinets, he worked for Bald Head for a couple of decades, I think, and went out on his own and made his own cabinets. Bald Head is in that premium tier pricing. I would choose Rousseau or MSS Plus over them. I'd choose, so I would rank it Rousseau, MSS Plus, depending on what you're looking to accomplish. Those two I like them both for different reasons. Underneath that, I would choose Moduline, would be my third choice. List is out now. The quality is no good, or very spotty. And then probably, lump in, then I'd choose, something like Bald Head after that. Let's see. So they're priced like Rousseau, so I would pick Rousseau. Hey there, tell me again about recommended drawer heights for sockets, wrenches, and screwdrivers. So for screwdrivers, I like a external 3-inch from Rousseau, so it's an internal 2-inch drawer. No, external 4-inch. Let me get my freaking tape measure and I'll tell you. It is, Rousseau calls it a 4-inch, which has 3 inches of height. So I want 3 inches of height for my screwdrivers, wrenches, stuff like that. And then I want 4 inches of internal drawer height for everything else. Up to possibly 5 would be the target. 4 inches is best internal for me. Hey Matt, thoughts on Ambio Max and PB1000 combo? I think that's freaking great, man. That'd be an awesome combination. Now, you'd have to run wire. I have the Ambio Max, so he's talking about the Sennheiser soundbar. So Ambio Max, and then adding a subwoofer to it would be great. And then you could do, not great for music, okay for music, but really good for like mid to low volume listening in the garage or in the house as well. Hey Matt, just upgraded house from a 1-car to a 2-car. Previously I had a garage gym. What are your thoughts on doing a garage gym on one side and OG style on the other side of the 2-car garage? I hate that idea, man. I would only do that if I had 1 car and I was living by myself. So if that's the case, I still wouldn't do it. I'd try to figure out, I'd get a shed, I'd try to do it on the back porch, I'd do another bedroom in the house before I put my gym stuff in the garage. I just don't want it in there. I want it somewhere else. I don't want to take up any garage space. Garage space to me is like gold, so I wouldn't want to mess that up. You know, I don't hate you for it. You can make it really cool, make it look nice, but I want my garage to be for my cars. I want to have 2 cars if I only have 1. I want to have 3 cars if I have 2. I want to have 4 cars if I have, have 3. So I'm going to want to try to figure out, like, we put our gym on the back porch there rather than in the garage. Are you going to release product views on the new stock you got of built hammer stuff? I think, so if we go to the home page, we scroll through, garage audio, quick jacks, cars and culture. If I click on new products, you just click on new products and you can see built hammer review, Surfx HD, Curacao, maybe meant reviews on the channel. So again, I don't do reviews, but yes, there will be product showcases on those. I'll have a specific video on review. I just used Curacao on this. It's not any different. It's just I think it's a prettier bottle. Maybe a little bit more environmentally safe than others. Brian says, hey Matt, how's your product flow coming up in Canada? Canada is going to see an exponential increase here in the next 3-4 months. We're doing a lot with Mark coming on board as COO. We're doing a lot, and Matt helping from the marketing perspective and the website perspective. We're gaining a lot of efficiency, and so we're gonna ramp up this process here over the course of the next 6 months. So it's going to happen faster. Any interest in the Max Flow pressure washers, 2.5 gallons per minute? I have one. I need to start using it to kind of test it out. But it is an interesting design, completely different design on how it produces pressure. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit. Usman says, really liking the Solocast format, feels more personable, like talking to like-minded friends, and your latest thumbnail picture had me rolling. Yeah. Maybe you're talking about the thumbnail from the we did two thumbnails for the tour of HQ, and I looked like I was, I don't know, it was like a uranium-powered cancer patient or something like that. So I was a radioactive. Let's see, Matt, ironically, in the garage working on cars alongside you, any update on the new interior cleaner? The name left me, but yeah, we talked about it earlier. It's Leader Max. It's leather, so it's coming. Not here yet. They're dealing with tariffs and chemical issues getting it here and labels and all that crap. So the Germans tend to, and I have the struggle with this with a lot of my engineers, types that work for me, is part of what's worked so well for me in Obsessed Garage has been, I am an engineer, but I'm not really, right? So I have an engineering diploma, but an engineering-like level of organization and structure. but got a bit of artist in me, and I'm just gonna leap headfirst and go, whether I'm ready or not. Let's just go. And if I hadn't done that, we wouldn't have a business. And so I think what's happening is that the Germans want everything to be perfect when I'm trying to convince them just launch. You should have seen their faces when they said, well, we're dealing with these, trying to get the products there and the raw materials. I said, well, why don't you do this? Why don't we just make it at OGHQ? Oh, no, we can't do that. Well, the secret formulas, even my wife doesn't know what the formula is. I said, well, I'll build you a room and only you have the key to it. So I'm always thinking outside the box. And so I think that they're in the business prevention department of trying to be perfect before it comes to market. So hopefully soon. Let's see, it's called LeaderMax, L-E-D-E-R, LeaderMax, L-E-D-E-R-M-A-X. Let's see, any new detailing products, chemicals in the pipeline, so that would be one. What I really want to accomplish next year is to have press-all bottled with all of our stuff from all the different brands, bottled and labeled, so that's coming. Any modifications? Dylan says, any modifications planned for the Model 3? Yeah, I'm going to do the unplugged carbon ceramic kit, so the bigger calipers in the front with the carbon ceramic rotors. They're basically Corvette, Brembo Corvette calipers, Ferrari Corvette calipers, or rotors, I mean, not calipers. And then they're like a Brembo GT caliper. So I'll do carbon ceramics, Mountain Pass Performance, which is a KW base. So KW manufactures the shocks for them. Mountain Pass Performance suspension with all their arms and all that stuff. And that's basically it. The detail, window tint. And then once I get that done, if car's working for me, I'm gonna get a Model S. I was going to say, if the full self-driving works for me. Let's see. Hey Matt, my Ryobi's dying after 5 years. Planning to purchase the mount and mount the Active 2.0 on my OG shelf paired with the Cox reel and CR Spotless. Worth it? Or what other pressure washer should you recommend? The thing that I'm really considering at that price point is that Max Flow. Depending on how quickly, if I were you, if you can wait a little bit, the Max Flow is something I'm toying with. It's got some quirks to it, but they've been really receptive on hearing me out on making some changes, so we'll see. Waba says, email him for Garage Obsession Spotlight. James says, has you looked into Canto Ren active speakers? They remind me of the Audio Engine stuff. I haven't seen those. I'll look that up. Kip says, I have cheap Gladiator cabinets with horrible factory paint jobs. If I upgrade to better cabinet offerings, will they be chemical fingerprint, water spot resistant, powder coated, clear coated? So the MSS stuff is a like a textured powder coat, and it is black, so it'd probably be worthwhile to coat it if you care. If you have a smaller array, it's a little easier to do, but they do wipe off pretty nicely, and they're pretty chemical resistant. I missed this one, sorry, from Usman. Last question, will we ever see an OG 1322 TS here in the UK? How does it compare to the 1022? So the 10, it's the same thing. The 10 is better, the HD10 there. So you want the HD10, assuming the HD10 has auto stop start. You may need to do, what is the other one? The HD, it's either 7 or 9 or something like that. But you have more power to work with. And so it has quite a bit more. I think it has like 2.5 gallons per minute. Let's see, you still getting a golf cart? Yes, I will get one. It'll either be a highly modified club car, or I may still get that GOAT golf cart. We'll see. Would you get a new GT3 RS if you can get it at sticker? Any thoughts on selling the 991.1? It's still $370,000, $80,000 sticker. If I was driving, if I could go to the mountains, I probably would try to get one. But not yet. I think I still, I don't know, man. I've been thinking about selling all the darn cars. Would that take the pressure off and just keep a Model 3 and have one car to obsess over? Or buy one crazy car, buy one $700,000 458 Speciale or something. I don't know. I don't love that car, so it's not like something I'm like pining over to get. Maybe ask me that question in a few months. JC says, Matt, thoughts on everybody and their uncle coming out with their own detailing line of products? Are they all the same with different labels? No, I mean, they're all using unique blenders, or they may have a different blender. They're getting it from a different place. I've always argued that the reason why I couldn't come out with a line of products is that I would maybe, if I'm lucky, have one great product, like class-leading product, and then all the rest wouldn't be. And even then, I probably wouldn't have one great product. I'd probably have all mediocre products. I just think that catching lightning in a bottle, you can only get lucky so many times. A lot of people believe that you can just reverse engineer your way into it, that you can just, you can just say what you want the properties of the product to be, and you can find a great chemist, and that great chemist is going to do it for you. I'm just not interested in it. So I don't have any interest in their products because I know that they aren't going to beat the guys that have been at it for 30 years. And if they did, we'd know about it because we could tell that it was a class-leading product. Let's see. Will you be visiting Germany to M539 workshop? Probably not. I know that we're doing some stuff with him. I know Matt Rutledge and Mike F. and Waba love what he does. They love the old BMWs. Let's see. Brian Silver, have you ever considered designing your own OG spec pressure washer under 15 amps, dual OG spec pressure washers on a wall mount? Would it be dialed? So I've gone down that path. I went down that path very early on, and then I came up with a $5,000 pressure washer that no one would buy. That wasn't really all that much better. So I think on things like that, polisher, pressure washer, things that require years and years and decades of experience and expertise, like the Mosmetic gun, I'm going to partner with brands to have them make it to my spec. So yes, we'll probably have our own version of an AR or a Krenzle at some point, but it would be built by them. Kirill says, is Mike a general contractor or is he a journeyman in some specific field? So Mike worked for a company that built stuff for oil refineries. There's actually a podcast, just search Mike F on the channel, not the Matt Mormon channel, but the Obsession Garage channel, and he tells this whole story on there. But he learned all the trades. He also had his own business on the side where he was doing remodels and building pools and all kinds of stuff. What made you get the Model 3 over the Model S? I wasn't sure if full self-driving was going to work. The Model 3 was a super deal, tax rebate, all the benefits of it. What's up, buddy? Come on up. Come on up. Say hi to everybody. JC, put your head in there. So I wanted to see if it worked before I committed to spending, $100 grand. I did the black interior. I thought you were going to get a Model S as well. I was going to. Let's see. Cars with Keith says, I for sure would want to know your thoughts on decibels and ramp down on the MaxFlow. It's cool that it will never allow you above 14.5 amps and will adjust power to achieve that. What is the best bed cover for the 2023 Ford Raptor? Crap, what do we have? It's called, shoot, I don't remember which one I have that I bought on multiple Raptors. It's the one that folds inside of itself, but I don't remember. Let's see. Usman says, when you're new to detailing, how are you meant to cut through all the noise when every product claims to be the ultimate solution? ObsessedGarage.com. I got your back, bro. I already told you what you need to get. I mean, you can veer from it if you want, but if you're starting out, just go to the iSite and just start buying one thing at a time. And then after you've gone through all of that, you want to go continue on that process. Oh yeah, Nada, I like what you're saying. Model 3 and 911R, that might be a good setup there, bro. Just sell all my cars and buy one $600,000 911R. That'd be sick. I like the Solocast better. Better background, well, other than it's a Tesla. Let's see, we can turn it. The GT4 RS is right next to me under the cover. No, Dixon says, don't be concerned with the ultimate solution. No, be concerned with the ultimate solution. I'm telling you, tried it more stuff than most anybody on the frickin' planet. And yeah. Let's see. Matt, I recommended the Open Run headphones. Did those work out okay? So, which ones did I get? I get the model numbers confused here. Those are called Open Run. The Shocks headphones. So you have the Open Run Pro 2. I didn't buy those. I bought the ones that everybody told me not to buy, which are freaking awesome. Open Fit 2 is what I bought. So the Open Fit ones, I have them right here. I was just using them. So these are the ones that I got. They're freaking awesome. They're like $180. They sound good. They fit well if I put it on the right ear. They fit great. The connectivity is okay. You don't have quite the quality of connectivity that you have with the, with Apple stuff. But the freaking Beats ones sound terrible. These sound great. So I love them. Thanks for the recommendation, but I didn't get the skull vibrating ones. These ones sound way better, from what I can tell. But I didn't buy both of them. Let's go back here. Thanks for all your questions, guys. This helped me out a lot. Will there be more Matt, Mike, and Mike episodes of y'all working at OGHQ headquarters? Yep, we have a whole series coming on the Bay. Mike is over at the neighbor Baloo's house down the street doing our next iteration of the OG closets, the Aspire closets. And so we're refining the process so that closets can go to national delivery here soon, and then we'll be doing local installation coming up here. So we're developing those. So we had to take a break from the HQ garage to then get those done. Why LiftMaster over Genie? Isn't Genie just the generic or the cheaper version of LiftMaster? The LiftMaster, I think, is the higher end version. How do you negotiate a deal with dealerships? I don't. I'm a terrible negotiator. They say, how much you want? I'll take it. So I'm the wrong guy to ask how to negotiate. Hey, Matt, when's the next giveaway? If you end up doing one, I have no plans, and hopefully we'll never have to do one again. So that's the hope. I never say never, but I don't have plans to do one anytime soon. Matt, do you plans on getting the new iPhone? Yeah, I ordered it first day. So I ordered the new Apple Watch and the new iPhone. I think it comes October 3rd. I don't like you could go to the store and get it right now. I like to just order it and it shows up when it shows up. But I have the iPhone 17 Pro Max in deep sea blue. And then I ordered the new Apple Watch. I got to get this straight in my head. What is the new Apple Watch called? Or which version of the Apple Watch do I get? I get the Watch Ultra. Yeah, the Watch Ultra, the one for running and all that stuff. So I got that. That's coming. That'll be here in a couple of days. Brian Silver says, what are your thoughts on automatic push lock quick connects in 1/4 inch for pressure washer guns? I've just upgraded to them and I don't see myself going back. I don't know. I haven't really, part of the reason why I haven't gone down that path yet is, Mosmatic doesn't make them, and the Mosmatic fittings, I would have a hard time giving those up. Once you go to the Mosmatic fittings, I couldn't imagine going back. So we're going to start talking with them about maybe making them. Roll and lock, thank you. That roll and lock is the bed cover. I don't have a lot of bed cover experience, but whatever his name is, Trarap CP says Retrax is the best cover. Are you still 100% carnivore? Well, I was until last night. I had some masa chips. So I've been trying to stay as 100% as possible, but I've realistically been 95%. When Ryan starts to drive, will you give him help him detail and learn the process for his car? Does he show any interest? He will once he gets a car. Like he details his shoes and stuff. So yes, we'll get him up to speed on that. What case? I always do the Apple case. I don't do a screen protector. Is it a good idea to put money down when you buy a brand new car? Yeah, probably. I mean, it just depends how much money you got, Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I pay for it. Sometimes I finance it 100%. Sometimes I put some money down. It depends on how I'm feeling. Your Tesla looks like it's about to go off-roading at that ride height. Well, it's not on the ground. It's on the, I don't want to mess up my camera, but it's on the 8000 TLX, the quick jacks. Matt, what noise canceling ear muffs do you use when you're blowing off cars? They are, what's the brand? It is Sordin Supreme. Sordin. Here's the one. Let's see. Hey Matt, been doing HVAC for 10 years, looking to get into a new career. Also know how to do plumbing, electrical, framing. I'm a younger version of Mike. Any spots available on your team? There will be, buddy. Around April is when we're going to start hiring to come and do, help us build the garage delivery and installation business. So we're going to be doing Rousseau, Sonic, Swiss Tracks, OG wash station, lighting, outdoor kitchens eventually. We're going to be doing it all. So yeah, man, it's very soon. In the next 6 months, we're going to be hiring for those positions. And there's going to be a lot of upward mobility because I think eventually we're going to have 25 teams. There's going to be the local simple teams. There's going to be the sort of the outlying areas like Ocala, Windermere, Tampa, some of the high-end areas where we do some higher-end garages. And then eventually they're going to be probably a travel team that travels around the country. So, yes. Matt, did you ever see the thread about Dr. G from O&R about his formulas being stolen by an ex-employee? Do you think that was Ivan? Oh, I'm certain it was, for sure. Would have been, well, not for sure, I don't know, but I would assume so. Yeah. Do you buy Apple products directly from Apple's website? Yes, I do. Hey Matt, which built hammer products are going to be on the OG site next? I don't know that there are anymore. We'll see. I think we'll probably have Ferrosol, which is like a super WD-40. The clay bars, they're still having production issue on the clay, or sourcing issues on the clay bars. The clay bars will be, but who knows? Pete might be able to talk me into some other stuff. If I could drive, so Cameron says thoughts on Audi RS6, RS7, R8. To me, the R8 I would get after I've had, every Ferrari and Porsche that I would want. But the RS6 is really interesting to me. If I could drive, I would probably have one. Have you seen the Descent Off-Road? Yes, GX 550 builds. Yeah, I like those a lot. They're pretty sick. How easy are quick jack to wall mount? Would it be justified to use them in a rental house or wait till I buy a house? Oh yeah, rental house for sure. Not easy to get them up on the mount, but not particularly hard. If you carry a lot of the weight on the floor, and you got to hit a stud obviously or hit concrete, but I would absolutely get them and put them in a rental for sure. Let's see. Matt, is there anything better for pressure wash hose reels? I received my Cox one on day one, and a day later, 2 of the welds are already broke already. Looking at retractable ones that Brian from Chemex sells. The only retractable one that's even remotely decent is the McMaster. It's the Australian one, McAllister, I think, or something like that. And it has a crappy hose. Yeah, I don't like, and Cox has a retractable, but I don't like retractable. It's the hose is too impliable. Maybe you just got a bad Cox. Cox is not the best reel. It's the best we've got. And so it is on the docket for us. We'd like to make like a ball bearing, awesome hose reel at some point. It's probably after we get our garage tracks and all that stuff launched. Tommy's going to head up Obsessed Engineering with Joe. We're going to have this here real soon. Let's see. Any updates on your search for indoor mats? I did get the... No good ones yet. I think that the LL Bean one is probably the best. Did you end up applying Armor Pro coating? I have not yet, no. Any Bronco content coming? Not really. I don't think I have anything. Matt, any torque wrench recommendations? Yeah, you should buy it from me. You want, if I could have only one, I would buy this one. 40 to 200 Newton meter. This is the 730N/20 from Stallvilla. This is the one. And you can get multiple heads for it. So get the 1/2-inch head and so you can get the quarter. No, you can't get the quarter. You can get the 1/2-inch and 3/8-inch head, and an interchangeable head, and it adjusts from here. Goes up to 150 foot-pounds. If you need one with a little bit more torque capability, you want the 730N/40. So that was the /20. This is the /40. I actually want both. I have both. And then I have the 730N, the big boy, /65. So this guy. I'm getting you into the thousands of dollars here, so. And then I have the 730N/2. So this is the guy. This one goes from 40 to 180 inch-pounds. So this one you can put this is where I would put the quarter or the 3/8 head on it. And I think that's, and then I have the /5. So the /5, this is the 7 to 37 foot-pound, 10 to 50 Newton meter. This is the one I use with the 3/8-inch head most. The /2 is the one I use with the 1/4-inch head most, and then you saw the big boys. So hit me up, shoot me an email if you want to do the Stallvillas. They're like, I don't know, they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like some of the big ones are over 1,000, so you're at least $300 a piece. Let's ask her. Yeah, the Henai reels are very similar. Henai or whatever, they're another American-made company. When I was ticked off at Cox, I went down that path and I got one of their reels, and it was the same old story. I think Cox is a little better, but I have gone down that path. They were freaking dum-dums, man. If I thought Cox was a problem to deal with, they were real dum-dums. That turned me off. Kai says, hey Matt, just wanted to say I have a lot of the same things going on that you do mentally, and watching you work through it. Also running your business is helping me have someone to look up to. Well, thanks, man. We can live in our own chaos. Oh, there is a YouTube video, Dr. G talking about the stolen formulas. I'll check it out. I probably won't check it out. I don't really care about that kind of crap. Let's see. I do know there's shadiness to a certain new detailing company that popped up in the last year. They try to start fights with Matt. I think I tried to start a fight with them, in fairness to those guys. I invited them to come on the podcast, but they didn't take me up on it. Let's see. Hey Matt, why don't you get one of the top Lucid Airs technology piece way better than Tesla, in my opinion. Yeah, but it doesn't FSD. They don't self-drive like Tesla, unless I'm wrong. While talking about phones, are you Verizon or AT&T? I've been AT&T since 2001. I just have AT&T. I still have my Bank of America plan, I guess. So I have some crazy plan that I called and said, well, I have to get rid of this, and I just still have it. Any thoughts on the newer SVS subs, the PB17 and the PB5000 for a living room? Yeah, I mean, they're nice. I would pick if you're getting into that big of a footprint, I mean, the JTR stuff or Perlisten. If you need pretty, Perlisten. If you want, just amplitude, JTR. The SVS price point is a little bit better. So price point is the issue. You can't go wrong with those. But I'm going to choose a JTR if I have the choice of those. All-in-one gym equipment recommendations. So I just got the FM-HR Rogue Functional Trainer, and I can't recommend it enough. It's freaking awesome. If you want, send me an email. I'll shoot you the list. I'll shoot you the invoice of everything that I bought. We got a really sick setup back on the back porch. But yeah, it's freaking sweet. Would you ever go on a mountain bike trip? Went to Bentonville, and they have a great riding city. I probably would someday. Never really thought about it. I've kind of been off the mountain biking here lately because I've been doing a lot of running. In fact, after I finish the podcast, I got to go do a 7.5. It'll be the official longest run I've done. I was supposed to do it on Tuesday, but I was just too beat up, man. So I haven't run. So I ran Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I didn't run. I think I ran Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I was doing a bunch of CrossFit, and went to Pittsburgh in that time frame. I ran when I was in Pittsburgh, and I did a really hard. It was a 2-mile, just a 2-mile time trial. So it was run a mile and then run 2 miles in time trial, and so I ran a 14:05 or something like that, 2 mile. So I'm getting a little bit faster, but I think I ran a 6:50 and like a 7:05 or something like that. And I was pretty beat up because that was the 5th day straight of running. And that messed me up because I gave it a pretty solid effort. Not full effort, but solid effort. And so I've been putting off this long run, and so I'm going to do it this afternoon. I didn't go to the gym this morning. And so I'm going to go try to knock that out. I bet I got to eat some eggs or something first. Let's see. Last couple of questions. Hey, Brad Hone. Good afternoon. What's the most cost-effective or cost-efficient way to purchase Mountain Valley water? I don't know about cost efficient, but I think Mountain Valley owns Primo Water Distribution or something like that, or they own them or one or the other. So I buy it from Primo in my area and it's delivered. It's not cheap. I don't think I have to pay any extra, but they probably bake it into the price. I think it's $45 for a 24 pack of the 11 ounces. I might have that wrong. And I think it's $45 for the 5-gallon glass. I spend hundreds of dollars a month on it, but I like it. Hey Matt, broken record question, sorry. Any ETA on the availability of Cree fixtures? Saw pause on OG website. There is no ETA, they're done. So you're gonna want H.E. Williams. And so same price, same quality. We do have some options for black and brown, and so we have some other options. It's pretty clean. I need to put them on the ceiling, but we've tested them out and looked at them in comparison. It's a great replacement. So anyway, what's going on here? Why am I stuck? Click up here. Get out of this. I can't scroll down. I think that's it. Oh shoot, you guys know, not even close. Let's see if I can crank through these. When does the Model 3 video come out? 3 weeks. Let's see, yeah, don't buy one that everyone recommends. The Open Fit 2 that I've been using is phenomenal. I've had it for 6 months. Follow up on the Cox reel, not stealing thunder, but Active's new pressure washer shelf. Real unit has bearings. Let's see. Does it rhyme with DIY? Let's see. I don't want to get into that. Any way to get the inside the Hex as a monthly membership? I think you can do it monthly on YouTube. Let's see. I think we have monthly option on the website as well. Do OG home sets not qualify for Hex Plus? It should. Shoot a message to support. Have you tried any of Shine Supply's coatings? I haven't. They're all jade coatings, you know, some version of a jade coating from B&B. Okay. Do you know offhand if ProSlat Slatwell accepts other brands' mounts? I don't know. It probably doesn't. Neil White says, Matt, I'm a gym rat. There's definitely an uptick in roids in younger men. Just curious if you've noticed that down there. I'm too afraid to stick a darn needle in me. And I did my blood work and my testosterone levels are great. So that's good. And I haven't had to, I'm waiting for somebody to accuse me. That's what I'm working so hard. I want to get to so fit and put on so much more muscle that people accuse me of taking testosterone. I couldn't even imagine if I got on it, I'd get freaking yoked. Not like just TRT therapy. I would still probably put on some serious size, but I don't want to use it if I don't have to, and I'm afraid of the darn needle. So you don't have to worry about me doing that. No, I haven't, but I'm sure there's some kids on Ryan's football team that are, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Gosh. Primo Brands owns Mountain Valley. Yep, Primo and Blue Triton merged about a year ago. Matt, would you ever chase the foaming nozzles and large containers of soap, foam cannons, or is it just not worth it? We went down that path, but the foam cannon is so easy that I just didn't see the need to do it. Let's see, maybe I missed it. Is Pro ADS coating going on the Model 3? No, it's CSL Exo. What's the best coating for my car? We already talked about that. I think that's it. He said there's 2 deaths at his gym. His wife's been seeing a lot of patients. Hey Matt, what's your opinion on going with an online-only car insurance versus one that has physical offices? I don't think it matters. You're looking for how they pay out claims. I like the relationship part of it, and I change cars so much that it's really nice to have an agent that I can just email and they get it done for me. Anyway, I gotta go eat something, take a couple of minute break, and then go for a long run and continue my tan. I gotta keep my tan going, so I'm gonna run this afternoon in the heat. But anyway, thanks for being here. Solo podcast, I think, turned out great. So I'll do this when I can. I think Matt and I will be doing the podcast most of the time. Rusty's got his he's going to be up to his eyeballs here the next 6 months or so, really getting all the content. Well, make sure to go subscribe to Obsessed Home Theater, to Youthman, the Youthman channel, because we're going to be doing every single per listen sub, every single JTR sub, every single JTR speaker, tons of comparisons, tons of information coming up. So make sure to go check that out. Anyway, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week.